What resistance have they put up, Hamas?
They expected our military operation. We know that they have troops. It's a small army there. They use the troops in order to smuggle more and more weapons, not only missiles. They attacked our forces with mortars and so. And we know that there are explosives in different parts, not only within the city, but in places in which they expect Israeli soldiers to come.
Have they been trying to kidnap soldiers?
Oh yes. They announced that they warned Israel not to enter the military operation because they'll kidnap soldiers.
But they did try to.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
How long can this go on?
Until a moment in which we have Hamas weaker, in which we know that they understand that Israel is not willing to live in realities in which our citizens are being targeted. And this is a combination between their military ability and the motivation, and we are working in both sides.
You have sounded quite upbeat. Other Israeli officials sound quite upbeat. But I remember this same atmosphere at the beginning of your war with Hezbollah in 2006. It's widely believed that that war was very badly handled. And in fact, you yourself criticized the Prime Minister for his handling of the Hezbollah war. Why should this one be any different?
Because Israel is a state in which we learn from our own experience. I know that.
You say it will help the peace process. But every time Israel goes to war against, whether it's Hezbollah or even whether it's against Hamas, it does in fact end up helping those who are the victims or the targets of your war, particularly given how many civilians are being killed by your forces in Gaza.
I can understand that the reality, not only the pictures coming from Gaza, but the reality can provoke and can make demonstrations or provoke demonstrations in different parts of the world, especially in the Arab world. I can understand the empathy that public and the public opinion in different parts toward the Palestinians. We are not fighting the Palestinians. We are fighting Hamas, a terrorist organization which controls Gaza Strip. Now, it is true, and you ask me, there are also civil casualties. But we are trying to avoid civil casualties, even though it's not easy. While Hamas is targeting our civilians as a target. Now,
Mrs. Livni, 4 Israelis have been killed. That's a very, very bad thing. And everybody knows that, or most people accept that it is Hamas who provoked your incursion. Yes. However, more than 400 Palestinians have been killed. Many of them are children, many of them are women. More than 2,000 have been wounded, many of them children, many of them women and elderly men. There are a lot of civilians amongst the casualties. What are you going to do to avoid that? And can you in this case?
What we are doing is trying to avoid that. We are putting now our soldiers at risk because there are certain things that we didn't want to do from the air in highly populated areas. This is what we are doing.
The Palestinian Authority has complained very bitterly about the disproportionate use of Israeli force. What is your view on the proportionality of your response?
I would like to say that I can't understand what is the nature of proportionality which is needed. I mean, they targeted last week a school in Beersheba in Israel. Do you think that the proportionate action is to target a school? We are not going to do this. They are targeting civilians. We are not going to do this. So the only measure that we are taking is to have them understand that this needs to be stopped. This is the expression of self-defense, the rights of self-defense of a state. And we tried the truth. We decided not to target at all. We decided not to retaliate at all. It didn't help. So this time we needed to say that, yes, maybe it is not according to, we are not answering one-to-one, one mortar, one missile coming from Israel. This needs to be stopped. So the question of proportionality, I think, is being misused against Israel.
You say proportionality is being misused against Israel, but you yourself know that it is a player in this game because the street is going to dictate how long you can keep this up.
Yes, I agree. The streets, especially in the Arab world and also in Europe and elsewhere, can affect the possibility of leaders who understand. The international leadership understands what we are doing. There are other parts in this world in which other states are fighting terror, as we are doing now in Gaza Strip. So it is true, to answer your direct question, yes. Clearly, some of the international leadership is going to be affected by the public opinion, maybe by the press, and the pressure on Israel is going to become stronger in the next few days, I believe.
Many people are calling for a ceasefire. Will you accept a ceasefire?
There is one thing that frustrates me, the idea of saying something like Israel and Hamas need to stop. A ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, it's not the same. I'm not willing to put Israel and Hamas in the same package or even use the same wording because, as I said before, we are expressing our right of self-defense. Israel is a state which is a member of the international community, while Hamas is a terrorist organization. Israel acts against Hamas because its target Israel. So they know what to do in order to stop it.
So you're going to continue until they stop?
They need to stop.
And if they don't?
So Israel takes the necessary step. It can be during this operation. It can be done later. At the end of the day, they need to understand that we are determined this time to change realities for our citizens. The idea is not to act against the population in Gaza Strip. It's not about who controls Gaza Strip, as long as we can live in peace and quiet in Israel.